Hello students, we are going to start chapter 3, Fibre to Fabric. Fibers are the group of threads which are obtained from the plants and animals, and how these threads are converted into fabric, this we are going to learn in this chapter. As we have heard, this fiber is obtained from two sources, plants and animals. So firstly we are going to learn about animal fibers. The common animal fibers are wool and silk. Wool is obtained from sheep, goat, yak, camel, llama, alpaca, etc. Silk is obtained from silkworm. So these are the animals' fibers, wool and silk, which are obtained from animals and silkworm. It is the picture of sheep. See the layer of fleece. This layer of fleece is made or converted into fabric from which clothes are made. Here is another animal, that is goat. Yak, this is also the animal source. Camel and silkworm. Wool is obtained from the fleece of sheep, goat, camel, yak, rabbit, llama, alpaca and other animals. So these are the name of animals which give us wool. These animals have a thick coat of hair on their bodies because the hair traps air and air is a poor conductor of heat. So thick layer of hair keeps their body warm and protects from harsh cold. For obtaining wool, animals are reared and then their hair is cut and processed into wool. So as we have learned that wool is obtained from lots of animals, then how and what is the function of this wool? This is the layer of hair which protects these animals from extreme cold. For obtaining wool, these animals are reared and then their hair is cut and processed into wool. Fleece and wool wearing animals. Fleece and wool wearing animals like sheep, goat, camel, yak, etc. bear two types of hair courses, hair and fine soft underhair. Fine soft hair is found close to the skin in such animals. The fine soft underhair of animals like sheep, goat, etc. is called fleece. Animals having fine soft hair on their body are called wool wearing animals. So the animals which wear this fine fleece of hair are called as wool wearing animals. Animal wool. Many breeds of sheep are found in India. Sheep gives milk and meat in addition to wool, but are reared mainly to obtain wool in different parts of the world. Sheep wool is most common wool. Angora wool is obtained from Angora goats of Jammu Kashmir. Is soft wool used for making shawls. Angora goats are found in hilly regions such as Jammu and Kashmir. Pashmina wool is obtained from Pashmina goats. Yak wool is obtained commonly in Tibet and Ladakh. Alpaca and llama found in South America also give wool. Camel hair is also used as wool. So here are different names of animals which provide different variety of wool. Rearing and breeding of sheep. Sheep are reared in many parts of our country like Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, etc. Sheep feed on grass and leaves. They are also fed with a mixture of pulses, corn, jowar, oil cakes and minerals. In winter, sheep are kept indoors and fed on leaves, grain and dry fodder. Some breeds of sheep have thick hair on their body which yield good quality wool in large quantities. They are selectively bred to get sheep of good breed. As these sheep or the wool giving animals are reared, so they are provided a proper variety of nutrition, or they are provided a good nutrition value so that they can yield a good variety of wool. Processing of wool. The processing of changing fleece into wool involves following 6 steps. How this wool is obtained, how this fleece is converted into wool, there are various steps. Number 1 is shearing, scoring, sorting, then burr separation, then dyeing and then spinning. Processing of wool. The fleece hair of the sheep is removed from its body along with a thin layer of dead skin by using machines. The process of removal of the fleece from the animal is called shearing. The sheared skin with hair is washed in tanks to remove grease, dust and dirt. The process of washing the sheared wool in hot water followed by drying is called scoring. So firstly, the process of shearing takes place. Here, the fleece of the sheep is removed with the help of machines. Then in the second step, these removed fleece is then washed and in hot water and then followed by drying. This step is known as scoring. Third step, the hairy skin is sent to a factory where hairs of different texture are separated. The process separating hair of different texture from the fleece is called sorting. Here the different hairs are separated on the basis of texture. This separation is known as sorting. Then burrs separation. The small fluffy fibers called burrs are separated from the hair and again washed and dried. Then dyeing. The natural hair of sheep is white, brown, black. The raw fibers are dyed in different colors. Spinning. The raw fibers are then straightened, combed and rolled into yarn. They are then spun and woven into fabric. So these are some of the steps in which the wool is converted into fiber and then into fabric. Cutting of wool. These are some of the equipments or machines used for cutting of wool or in the process of shearing. Yarn types and its uses. There are two types of yarn, long yarn, shorter yarn. The long yarn threads are usually knitted to make sweaters, mufflers, caps and socks. The shorter yarn threads are woven into fabrics. These are the picture depicting wool and yarn. Uses of wool. Wool is used for making warm clothes such as sweater, cap, shawls, gloves and blanket, etc. Wool is also used in making carpets and upholstery. Now, the second animal fiber is silk. Silk fiber is obtained from the cocoons of the silkworm. The silk moth lives on the leaves of mulberry plants. This silk fiber is obtained from the silkworm commonly called as silk moth. This silk moth feeds on the mulberry plants. Types of silk. Different types of silkworm produce different types of silk in terms of luster and texture. For example, the Sar silk, Muga silk, Kosa silk, etc. are produced by different types of silk moth. Mulberry silk is the most common silk moth. As there are the variety of silk moth, in the same way, the different silk moth produces different silk. Sericulture. The rearing of silkworm for obtaining silk is called sericulture. This is the artificial process in which silkworm are reared for obtaining silk. This is the picture of silk moths. History of silk. Silk was discovered in China around 3500 BC. Silk became a prized possession because of its fine quality and luster. As silk is having very unique qualities, it's of very fine quality and it's having a great shiny appearance. Originally, it was used by emperors only. It was through that trade that silk spread to other parts of the world, as silk was first discovered in China. And then slowly it spreaded throughout the world. Over a period of time, silk was a staple item of trade during ancient times. Due to this, the ancient trade routes which link China to other parts of the world are called Silk Route. As per historians, silk was produced in India also. Proof of use of silk during the Indus Valley civilization has also been found. Life cycle of silkworm. There are 4 stages in the life cycle of silk moth: eggs, larva, pupa and adults. Female silk moth lays eggs, then after about 14 days, eggs are hatched into larvae called caterpillars. Then this is grown into a pupa which secretes fiber made of protein and weaves the fibers around itself completely. This covering is called cocoon. Live in the cocoon for some time. After coming out, cocoon grows into silk moth. Life cycle of silk moth. Firstly, the adult silk moth lay eggs. It feeds on the mulberry tree. After these eggs are collected and these eggs are converted into caterpillar or larva. Then they forms the cocoon. Inside cocoon there is a pupa. It weaves a thread around its fiber around it, and this fiber is then collected. Mulberry tree, as we have read, the silk moth basically feeds on the mulberry leaves. Processing of silk. The process of obtaining silk from silk moth involves rearing of silkworm, reeling and dyeing. This is followed by spinning and weaving. Rearing of silkworms. The female silk moth lays eggs. Eggs are stored over a clean cloth or paper strips. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature. The eggs hatch into larvae called caterpillar or silkworms. The silkworms are kept in a bamboo tray and feeds on mulberry leaves and grow in size. After 30 to 40 days, the silkworm stops eating and begin to spin cocoons. Cocoons get hardened because of exposure to air. Inside the cocoon, the silkworm develops into silk moth. Then reeling of silk. The cocoons are collected and kept in sunlight or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. The process of taking out the silk thread from the cocoon is called reeling. Reeling is done by machine. This is the picture showing how the reeling of silk takes place. Dyeing, spinning and weaving. Dyeing. The silk fibers are then dyed in different colors. Spinning and weaving. The silk fibers are then spun into threads and woven into different types of silk cloth, that is fibre. This is the process or picture showing you spinning and weaving of silk. Uses of silk. Silk is costly fabric. Silk fiber is used for weaving clothes, especially traditional dresses in India like sari, kurta, shawl and other wedding clothes. Silk had always been prized for its luster and fine quality. The countries which produce silk on a large scale are China, first rank, and India. Plant fiber. The common plant fibers are cotton and jute. Till here we have read about the animal fiber, that were wool and silk. Now we are going to read about the plant fiber. The common plant fiber are cotton and jute. Cotton is obtained from the flower of the cotton plant. Jute fiber is obtained from the stem of the jute plant. Cultivation of cotton. Cotton is cultivated in black clay soil. It needs warm climate. The sowing of cotton crop is done in early spring. Cotton plants are bushy and about 1 to 2 meters tall. The plants start flowering in about 60 days and give whitish yellow flowers. The flowers turn reddish in a few days. Flowers slowly grow into spherical walnut-like structures. These are called cotton ball. Fibers of cotton grow on these seeds. After some time, green cotton balls turn brown. At maturity, the cotton balls burst open and the white cotton fiber can be seen. Processing of cotton. First step is ginning. The cotton picked up from the plants has seeds in it. The process of removing cotton seeds from the pods is called ginning. Ginning was traditionally done by hand. Nowadays, machines are used in ginning. Spinning. The process of making yarn from fiber is called spinning. The raw cotton is supplied to industry in the form of bales. Steps in making cotton yarn. The raw cotton is loosened and cleaned to remove straw and dried leaves. The clean cotton is then fed into a machine. The cotton fiber are combed, straightened and converted into a rope-like structure called sliver. The sliver of cotton fiber is converted into yarn by spinning using machine. Weaving. The process of arranging two sets of yarn together to make a fabric is called weaving. The wig reels of yarn are called bobbins. These bobbins are used for weaving the clothes. The cloth is woven on looms. After that, they bleached and dyed to give a finish. Knitting. Knitting can be done by hand and machine. Just 2 yarns are used in knitting, while more than 2 yarns are used in weaving. Sweaters, socks, scarves and caps are knitted from the wool. Cotton in India. Cotton is cultivated mainly in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Madhya Pradesh. What are the uses of cotton? Cotton is mostly used for making clothes of various kinds. Examples: towels, bedsheet, curtains, saris. The second plant fiber is jute. Jute fiber is obtained from the stem of the jute plant. It is cultivated in rainy season. Jute fiber is pale yellow in color and 2 to 3 meter long. Jute fiber is very strong. Jute fiber has silky texture. Jute is grown in alluvial soil, which is found usually in the delta region of the Ganges and Brahmaputra rivers. In India, jute is mainly grown in West Bengal, Bihar and Assam. Jute plants are about 2.5 to 3.5 meter in height. It bears yellow flowers in 3 to 4 months. Jute plants are usually cut at the flowering stage. A good quality fiber is obtained from plants which are cut at the flowering stage. After falling of dry leaves, bundles of dry plants are kept in a pond for a few days. In this period, the gummy skin rots out to separate the fiber. This process is called retting. The jute fiber is obtained from the retted jute by hand. Jute fiber is used mainly for making gunny bags, shopping bags, ropes, carpets, curtains, etc. Now synthetic fiber. Synthetic fibers are quite strong, wrinkle resistant and quick drying. These are used in making different materials like clothes, neckties, sails, sweater, shawls, carpets and blankets. They are also used in making boats, skating boards, etc.